We are now talking to executive producer of the Roommates Show, Cam Smith. Cam, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
We're good,
Y'all
man.
had me laughing a little bit earlier. I thought I might see some flames. I might not know the source of the flames, but on my intro, I heard that we're gonna be lighting some fires coming in.
I'm gonna do it. And by the way, anybody that's gonna tune in, it's gonna be in the next week or so. I'm gonna get a nice lighter and I'm going to light it on fire. I'm going to see if I can actually do it. I've never done it before, so this is a first time for me. And on live radio, you're going to get a chance to see a flame come out of my ass. Anyways, Cam, there's a lot of flames from this basketball series. It's kind of making me sick. The Knicks have been playing a lot of heat. Thank God it's not the Miami Heat, because then it'll really be heated. But nevertheless, there's a team called the Indiana Pacers that are young, they're sensational, they're fast, and they play a great style of basketball. What were your thoughts going into this series? What was Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart's thoughts of going into this series against this young Pacers team?
Yeah, the thoughts going into the series, coming in with a lot of confidence, I feel like. You knock off the defending champs, make it further than you have, or get to the same point you were 25 years ago. You definitely come into with a lot of confidence. The Pacers, their strengths, I think, at some points can be the Knicks' weaknesses and vice versa, right? So it looked like they were going to come in, still try to establish the identity they have, which is, the leadership of Brunson, kind of his intelligence, his pace, right? They don't want to try to get in a running match with them, right? The rotation is already tight, right? But they do believe in the starters that they have, and I think you've seen even Deuce McBride come alive in the playoffs. You've seen Mikal have big games on offense and defense. OG as well. Mitchell Robinson, who'd been injured for so long, and then finally coming back to the roster and being able to contribute immediately. Celtics tried Hack-a-Mitch. The Pacers have tried Hack-a-Mitch. It doesn't seem to be a problem right now with how he contributes, but you're not going to beat them with just your starters, right? So definitely need contributions from the bench. And I think when the Knicks got that win in Game 3, we saw more contributors, guys getting longer breaks like Brunson and Hart, and they're able to come back in fresher for the fourth quarter and make those type of comebacks.
So, what are your thoughts on the overall changes in the rotation? We've seen the last two games, and obviously Precious Achiuwa getting his first minutes tonight for the first time in a while. And how would you do it if you were Tibbs going forward? Would you keep it like Game 3? Would you keep it like tonight? Is there a method that you would have if you were coaching?
Ooh, man, that's a tough question. I do give credit to Tibbs. He's done an amazing job. He's revitalized the Knicks for as long as I've been alive. They haven't been this competitive, other than maybe a single season with Melo, but to make deep runs in the playoffs like this, comeback wins, right? 3 20-point comeback wins, something that I really have not seen in the playoffs. So give credit to his strategy. But for me, I'm rocking with the same thing that got me the dub in Game 3. I'm opening up the bench. There's things that I've seen in the first half. DeLon Wright appearance. I saw a DeLon Wright corner 3. Love to see that. Love to see some hustle plays that I've been seeing from others. Healthy dose of Mitch, right? Also, foul trouble has been huge, right? Trying to keep the starters out of foul trouble. Cat, Brunson. There's been a few whack calls, but you get those. They break either way. Sometimes you get them. Sometimes they bounce your way. But I like to see that rotation giving people a new burst of energy. The Pacers, they're throwing guys at you. They're pressing you the whole game. You got to offset that somehow. It's going to be tough. It's going to wear on you. Even though Brunson's in great shape, Hart's in great shape, all the starters that have played huge minutes throughout the year, they're in great shape. But, having someone pressing you and in your face and you having to bring the ball up against pressure, it definitely does wear on your legs when you need those fourth quarter threes to go in.
Yeah, Cam, what would you talk a little bit about, because we've seen obviously the foul trouble being a big thing, but I think a lot of it's been in transition too, especially when they're switching on the perimeter and you get guys, Mitch and Cat on the perimeter, where they get beat, they get blown by, and then frustration, and you get a cheap foul. I'd love to see him more in the block to be able. I mean, Mitch only had 6 rebounds. He should be a double guy. But when he's having to guard on the perimeter and almost in a wing capacity, do you think you always switch on everything or keep them closer to the basket?
I think you switch mostly. It's interesting. I would love to see, I think good players like Halliburton, right, who's all-star caliber, even Siakam, who's been a 3-time all-star, they can kind of key in on those switches and the pick and rolls if you give them the same look all night. I'm not saying you blitz or double the ball screen, but I would like to see them, the Pacers players have been doing a good job of fighting over the screens. And even Brunson, one of the, pick and roll masters that we have in the game. So if we wanted to come out of an after timeout and just like try to fight through, right? Man on man, this is what we want to see in the playoffs. Stay your own and give them a different look that way. I think that would be great. I've seen a little bit of it. Sometimes, you just got to make adjustments on the fly. People do end up staying on their own, but they do go with mostly switching. And I think adding Robinson to the lineup or adding him to the starting lineup could be beneficial. They brought him in so he can really try to stay under the basket a little bit more and kind of have those other 4 guys playing on the perimeter and switching with each other.
I will say this. I am eating this Twizzler. It was in my nose, and it's delicious. And, I can't breathe. I can't finish this interview having a Twizzler in my nose. So I had to, touch it. I'm going to finish it.
Tough.
It's good, man.
You did have the bull nose ring going.
I did. You want me to stick the rest of this in my nose? Let's see if I can get it in my nose here.
Now it's a shorter bull nose ring.
There it is. I don't know.
It could be one of those old school doormats.
Now I look like a clown, I look like a clown. I'll stick it right over here. Anyways, we are talking to executive producer of the Roommates show, Cam Smith. Now, obviously, you work with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. They're different personalities. Tell us a little bit about both of these guys. Oh, my goodness. What type of personality is Josh Hart first? And then, obviously, his co-host in Jalen Brunson, what type of personality is he, and how does this work?
Absolutely. With Hart, what you see is what you get for sure. You see the post-game interviews, right? And you know that there's, he has an air of joking to him, right? He likes to be the person that brings levity and stuff to the team. You see him on the court, it's like a flip switch. He's the ultimate competitor. He's one of those guys that can run through a brick wall. But it's amazing to be in a podcast setting with him and just see how his mind works. These guys are at the top of the game and really top of the craft for basketball. So to get the best of both sides, at least with the comedy and friendship they have, has been a treat to watch. But then also hear them talk hoops and get serious, right? Because we know that they're top competitors. It's really cool to hear the back and forth that they have, especially when they're roasting each other about not playing defense or missed assignments, talking about Coach Tibbs, going over to his house for dinner and different things like that you don't really get to see from traditional media as we known it in the past. Brunson for sure. We know Hart as the jokester, but Brunson I think may be even funnier. You just don't see it as much, or behind closed doors, the jokes he's letting off are hilarious.
Is Tom Thibodeau a pot roast guy? Because he kind of looks like it. I don't know.
We could be pot roast. You know what? If I had to pick, just because Tips came on the show, he's an interviewer. I would say that
he needs to get his hair. He needs to shave his head. I mean, come on.
Joba's favorite hair.
I mean, his hair. Is absolutely beyond.
No, you got to keep it. It's a signature look now. You got to rock it.
I mean,
it's signature now.
No, we need to
look. You got Doc Rivers, man. He's hanging on. Folks are hanging on.
Errol's favorite coach.
Oh God, I can't stand Doc Rivers. Oh my God, I can't stand. And Doc was a good basketball player, but as a head coach, I don't know what is the love fest for this guy. He won one championship, and Tom Thibodeau was his defensive guy. The reason why Garnett and Paul Pierce and Rondo and that team was a great defensive team was Tibbs. It had nothing to do with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers hasn't come close to the finals since that championship. Why does everybody love this guy?
Sorry, brother. You're going to be dealing with Doc Rivers to the end of time. Once you get that championship, you're grandfathered in, baby. You're good for life. That could be your coaching. That's your tenure.
You better not say that's going to be my coach. I don't want Doc Rivers. I'll take Tom Thibodeau in a heartbeat over Doc Rivers. I don't know listen, his son, and I'll say this. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan. And if anybody doesn't know...
Oh, no. Let me... where's the leave studio button? I'm just kidding.
Austin Rivers played for the Duke Blue Devils. Did he not?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I watched...
Remember those iconic shots?
Boy, but that Duke team was one of the worst teams I got a chance to watch, okay? And why? Because I got the chance to see Doc Rivers on the sidelines coaching instead of Coach K. So I'm just not a Doc Rivers fan. But Austin was a cool guy. I met him at one of the events. Seems like a cool guy. He does say stupid things off air. He definitely does. So I'm just speaking the truth. You probably be good friends with him. So I'm going to kind of go off target over here. I don't want to get myself into trouble. And maybe I do want to get myself into trouble. But nevertheless, I do think it's pretty cool to watch two personalities go on a show and actually bring their personalities out away from the basketball hoop. When you got a guy like Jalen Brunson, who seems like a calm, collective, reserve and quiet person. When he goes on that radio show, I think he's just a completely different person. I think Josh kind of brings out the presence of the personality and completely changes Jalen Brunson and his personality when he brings up a story from Villanova or brings up a story on a basketball court or practice. I got a chance to check out his show, their show when it first came out, and I was like, well, you know, I'm a big fan of Josh Hart. When the Knicks traded for Josh Hart, I was excited. So was Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was, I forget where he was, but he was at an event, and he came out, he found out that on Twitter that Josh Hart was traded to the New York Knicks, and he was excited. But the one thing that I really like about Josh Hart is just his heart on a basketball court. He goes out there, he puts it all on the line, and I see that on the radio show. What type of personality, off air, when you're not recording, do they play practical jokes on each other? Do they do anything that you don't get a chance to see on the camera?
Ooh, we try our best to keep it, if these guys are going off on a funny tangent or they're roasting each other about the Eagles score versus the Commanders, which Josh is a Commanders fan, which, I don't think any of us could stand, but, he is from the Maryland DMV area, but so we'll let him rock. But, I'm trying to think of practical jokes.
Practical.
Have they ever played
a practical joke on you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's funny. Like we get into these roasting sessions all the time. If someone cracks a joke and kind of our studio audience or our folks working the podcast laugh too loud, Jalen's turning on them and he's just like, who's laughing too loud over there? So it's firing either way. I'd say practical jokes on me. We do like to make bets, should something happen or say the guys, they like to play college football, NCAA, right? They're constantly betting on that, or they're betting on if they were right about a certain sports fact, right? If I get in there, we'll make bets and different things like that. So we'd like to keep it competitive. Those two guys are, they love to have a good time, but they're uber competitive. I've come on the show and made some appearances. We've played some kind of like different trivia games and stuff before too. So it's been nice being able to get to know them and see that competitive side of them, see the friendship. It really is crazy to think of a professional sports situation where you're next to two of your college teammates who you won a championship with. So very rare situation. Your dad is also an assistant coach if you're Jalen. So it really has been kind of like a family affair, and to get an inside look at that is really cool.
So I want to ask about your best fun fact you heard about both players, both Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, that you've heard on the show.
I am surprised, not really surprised, but Jalen is a very big Dragon Ball Z fan. So for the anime,
really?
Could be a little bit of watered down anime, but kind of popularized anime. He loves him some Dragon Ball Z, which I was a big fan of too growing up. Come back to me. I could think of a better fun fact. But a lot of people don't know this about Hart, but he was actually an Eagle Scout from when he was growing up. That means you get every single badge, Boy Scouts, and it's kind of like a testament to his character and like will not to give up. He said that he wanted to quit very many times, but his pops wouldn't let him. He was not going to be that kid that starts something and does not finish, and he's kind of taken that lesson to him. He said a few times just throughout life, and it kind of shows in his play in the NBA, right? This is a guy, right, been traded multiple times, and now playing his best basketball in year like 7 or 8, going in deeper playoff runs than he ever has before. So definitely hats off and admire that quality about him, that he's just going to be someone that just outworks you.
Who's picking up the tab? Sir. That's what I want to know. Who's picking up the tab?
They've said so before, but Josh is the best tipper. And we also have a co-host, Matt Hillman, right, who grew up with Josh and is his high school teammate. He's been great, being able to ask the questions that the fans want to hear on camera, and everyone attests. It's without a doubt that Josh is going to be the best tipper. He's going to pick up that tab. JB took that pay cut, you know what I mean? So I think he, we'll wait for him to resign before we're asking or
giving him that look. Are you kidding me?
He's got that gator arm, just can't quite get in there.
We'll give it to him. We'll use that arm for buckets. Like, hey,
what did he get? What did he get? 160 million? I mean, I'd like that pay cut too. I mean, give me $1 million. I'll be pretty happy with that. I mean, Joba made a couple million. I mean, he was a professional athlete, so why couldn't
any
you
of us would take that? Like,
Cam, how much are they paying you?
I'll be your roadie.
Are they paying you some big bucks? Are they tipping you?
Can we get the NDAs in the chat? We'll get that signed. No, you'll know that total salary.
Errol attends the bull riding event at Madison Square Garden. Maybe he can get $150 million to ride one of those with a Twizzler in its nose.
So you guys know, I actually went back-to-back years to the bull riding championship, and I got a chance to be on stage and get a chance to talk to some of the best bull riders in the world. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is one of the fun events you could ever go to, because you're right in front of like a 5-ton bull, and these guys are trying to ride it, and they get caught under the bull, and they get thrown around like a towel, from this big, huge bull. It's so freaking cool, and you get a chance to really experience it up at close and personal at Madison Square Garden. It's something that you'll definitely love to go and check out. And your kids, bring your kids to go and check it out. Cam.
Hey, we've been at American Whiskey. We've been a
Nerves
sponsor
of
for like
steel.
10 years.
What was you saying, Cam? It is.
One of my restaurants, we've been the sponsor for them.
Cam, now, speaking about bulls, I mean, if you had somebody that could ride on top of you, who would it be? Joba, me, or Speedy?
Come on,
or Nathan.
Wait a minute.
You can volunteer Nathan, too.
No.
I'm sorry, guys. That's a bad 3/4 song.
Come on, you could
With all due respect to you guys,
you could do a write-in vote of Nathan.
It's the nightmare rotation.
Disrespect all you want on that one.
It was probably
no.
if Joba jumped
It's
on your
the
back,
nightmare.
you'd probably be crushed. Anyways,
I'm about 225 now. So.
really, you're 225? Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at you, man. You lost some weight.
You're doing good.
Yeah, good.
All right, that's within squat range.
Yeah,
But I don't know if this is a situation that's
I'm
going to happen.
220,
No.
so
Cam, we'll let you write in
Where's that
Nathan if you
100
prefer
Where's
that.
that 100 million?
For 100 million, I'll probably do it.
I'd like 100 million. If I ever obviously earned $100 million, well, you know what I would do? I would give $1 million to all my friends in my family. That's what I would do. First thing I would do is give every one of my friends in my family $1 million. That's pretty fair. By the way, we are talking executive producer from the Roommates show, obviously, JALEN Brunson, Josh Hart, Cam Smith, an executive producer. Very cool to have him on the show. I know he's pretty busy. I know he's watching this cruddy basketball game, and hopefully the Knicks pull it out in the fourth quarter like they've been doing. But this is typical New York Knicks fashion. They fall behind, and then they have to play catch up in the fourth quarter.
We got them where we want them.
Oh, is that what you? Is that
I
the
always
game
say
plan?
it's a fourth quarter team.
Is that the game plan, or is that the conversations? Do you text obviously JALEN Brunson and Josh Hart during the game, and at the end of the game, they actually reach out to you and say, "Yo, that was the game plan. That was the game plan, Cam. That was what we were planning to do."
I could try. I am not getting a text back during the game or on game day. Those guys are all business. I respect that part about them, that they don't handle business or kind of outside stuff other than the game on game day. So I love that. But yeah, when I talk, everyone always knows what's going on. These guys are champions.
Now I got a question. You've had Dante DiVincenzo on your show. You've had Mikal Bridges on your show. These all four guys have played on Villanova, win a national championship, actually 2 national championships. What is it like? What kind of personalities when those 2 guys are on the show? How do they bring out the personalities of Josh Hart and obviously JALEN Brunson?
Absolutely. Kind of with our set design, some of the pennant flags and different stuff we have in the background. When you get these guys together, it's just like you're stepping into like their college dorm room. And it's like no time has passed since Nova. These guys are joking on each other, telling those untold stories that the fans and stuff love to hear. But yeah, the personalities is great. It's kind of like each person has you could see them kind of slip into those different roles, like kind of like the Avengers, if you want to give people a role. Brunson will be your Captain America. Right. And then you kind of got Hart, which is your wild card. But yeah, I could see Dante, right? He's kind of like that. He's got that quiet leader quality to him, right? He definitely doesn't take any stuff. He's talked about getting into fights with Hart in the weight room and stuff at Villanova. And he was someone I really loved the Hart that he played with last year in the playoffs. One specific instance was that Game 7 against the Pacers, right? Where team is hobbled, right? A lot of folks are out. OG was trying to play, probably could only give 5 minutes on that hamstring, limping around, and Dante ends up 39 points, just pouring his heart out. So that's the kind of character and stuff that he had. Mikal also a funny jokester as well.
You have a chance to sit with Brunson, Hart, or Mikal Bridges and interview him. Who would it be and why?
Ooh, luckily I had the chance to like talk to like all of them and get to know their personalities, right? So, man, it is tough to choose, but I feel like Dante is the more quiet of the four, right? Or of Hart, all the Nova Knicks or Nova Knicks past. So I would like to know a little bit more about kind of like his mentality, how he gets up for games. He has a ton of confidence. He's one of those kind of like shooters that I admire, that have that Curry quality where it's always the next one's going in, right? And he can have no conscience at times. And when he's come up big for the Knicks, and you see him now, I think he had 21 points last game for the T-Wolves. Even after a shooting slump, right? So I would like to get to know a little bit more of his mindset. I know he's a chill guy, right? Maybe not too flashy, but here's some of the things he likes to do to unwind, get in the right headspace. And it's interesting hearing things about athletes to kind of like humanize them and kind of like bring them to a level as just people. But hearing an athlete's playlist and different things like that, not even pregame, just what you listen to chill, like tells you so much about a person.
So I want to ask the most interesting guest and your favorite guest that you've had on since you've joined the show.
Oof, most interesting. We've had an amazing slate, dude, because it's just like we've been really blessed to get folks like Tom Brady and Lil Wayne on the show, be able to pick their brains. I'm a football fan, so like Eli Manning is up there. That was a remote one. Even musicians, being able to have like A Boogie, right? So for the younger rap scene, Fat Joe. I'd say our two most interesting guests would be Action Bronson, right? This is someone who was like
lost a lot of weight, by the way.
Turned rapper.
Weight,
He's killing it in the gym. If you guys ever watch his workouts, he's throwing up big weight, and I love to see it. Like he's got the power lift grind. He did lose a lot of weights. I think he said that he's. Oh, he does.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's doing good things in the weight room, man. So I love that. Love the weight loss journey. And I would say Action Bronson definitely has a super unique personality. Hilarious. Keegan-Michael Key is up there. But someone you never know what they're going to say next would be Ocho Cinco.
Not surprised. Not surprised. I mean,
yeah, you guys know him well. So I
actually met the funny thing about Ocho Cinco. I met him when I was in Miami. I was on the boardwalk. I was having a mimosa. And a funny story is me and my friend, I actually had a chance on that trip to interview Dwayne Wade, Cuba Gooding Jr. He was on that. They did that OJ, that OJ series. So I got a chance to meet him. He was partying. They were doing the final taping over there. So I got a chance to hang out with him. Floyd Mayweather. But Ocho Cinco, it was the morning time. We were just hanging out at this place and we were having a mimosa. And this guy is running on the boardwalk. And I was like, yo, that's Chad Johnson. And then he sits down like 2 tables away from us. And I'm like, I told my friend Justin, I was like, I'm just going to go over there and sit next to him and have a conversation with him. Sat with him, and he looked at me for a second. He thought I had like 6 heads. Why are you sitting here? And then I get into a conversation with him, and he just, the guy does, when he speaks, he doesn't stop. He just, and he goes on and on and on. And then he says, dude, I gotta finish my run, but I got a date. I got a big date later. So that was the last time, but that was the first time I met Ocho Cinco. So, and that was when he just changed his name to Ocho Cinco, I think it was. But anyways, he's an interesting dude.
I remember that. That was a big headline.
Yeah.
He's kind of got that quality about him where he's just like, you could tell he's a guy that oozes confidence, like, most top athletes are, but he's just like, he's more soft-spoken than I imagine. Kind of talks a little bit, quietly, a little bit more reserved, and then he'll say something outlandish. You'll be like, what?
Cam,
how does your brain even come to these conclusions?
Cam, are you a Yankee fan? Are you a Yankee fan?
Yeah, rock with the Yankees. I wouldn't say I'm too much of a baseball fan, but you see I got the Yankee blue on right now.
I see it.
What up, Joba?
So you got a chance to see Joba. What were your thoughts to Joba Chamberlain as a Yankee fan when he helped win a World Series in 2009?
Oof. So
don't be mean.
I wouldn't say I would be no. I wasn't tapped into baseball too much at that point, but I did see the championship run. I mean, to get to that level and have that, is kind of like a dream when you set out. Joba, what age would you start playing baseball? I know you were a pitcher, right?
I was 3.
But 3 years old, right? Because I'm former pro hooper. Played 1 year in Ireland before I was just like, I kind of wanted to switch careers and kind of focus on like a secondary dream of content, right? So I kind of know what it's like. Definitely not to be at that level, to be at the World Series, but just to be in the locker room and kind of get that understanding of the everyday grind that it takes to get there, and how long and how early these guys start, and how competitive it is to get to that top level. But yeah, that really is like the athlete's dream. You know, you start at 3 years old, you're imagining yourself in the yard, right? Like at 3 years, not even at 3 years old, but just your whole life, you know, imagine that this is the World Series, right? And this is the bomb I'm about to hit, you know, or this is
this is 1,000 times before it happens. And you never think you're going to get there, but.
Oh, I got a follow-up question, because I heard Mikal Bridges say this about playing in the NBA Finals. This is just like, to get there and the reps that you have to do and the games you have to play are in the thousands. The hours you have to play are well over the 10,000 hours to even, you know, sniff to be able to get that level in the postseason as a pro. But he was like, when you're there, it just doesn't, you know, you built it up to this and it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like this is the moment. You know, you're just you're focused on your game plan. And it's just like, it doesn't feel that different than the other games, the other playoff games you've played.
Yeah, it's, you know what's weird? It's like once you get done with the regular season, then like that new season starts, and that first game is kind of the one where you kind of get that. But then as you continue to go through, it's like, okay, it's another series. Like, yeah, it's win or go home, and you know that. But it is interesting because when you get there, and you got to understand, it's, you know, we've played over 200 games because we have 40 in spring training, 162 the regular season. And then we were at like, I think we played 14 in the postseason. And so you just get to a point where, you know, it's like once you get into the postseason, you get those, all right, here we go. But then, like, I got to the World Series, and there was a rule that one of my coaches always said: you never touch the foul line, and I was fortunate enough to play in the College World Series and, you know, Big League World Series, and that was the only time you could ever step on the chalk line, is if you made it to the World Series. And it's like, those are just like certain things where it like slows you down to bring you into the moment, to not let it get too big, because it's like you've put the work in, and you know you're one of the last ones standings, and you're on this roster. You made an impact, and it kind of like, I was pitching in Game 6. I stepped off the mound and started laughing because everything just slowed down, and I'm like, I'm a 22-year-old kid, like living a dream that all these kids want to do in every instance. And they asked me about it. I was like, I wanted to take it in. Like I didn't have a pitch clock, so I was able to take some time. And so it is true, though. It is true when you get there. In some it speeds up, some it slows down. But just knowing you got there, it obviously sucks to lose, and I've been on both ends of it. But just getting there, knowing the work, and everybody thinks like there's an off season. There, for an athlete to be what you want to be, you may take a couple weeks, but there's no true off season. You're always working on something, whether it's you getting in the playbook, you watching film. Like, it may not be the physical aspect of it, but the mental side of it too. And I think, you know, that's a lot of, I was going to ask you too, from your end, and from, you know, playing a little bit and know what goes into it and being around these guys. Do you think too, like some of this, we know social media can be kind of a pain in the ass, but I think on the other hand, with shows like your guys's and ours, I think what it does for the sport, it grows it, because you actually get to see their personality of who they are, because you only get to see what they do on the court. You don't get to see the jabbing at each other and making fun of each other in the story. So have you seen like how these guys have matured, not only on the court, but as human beings and friends, just because now the avenue that we have to talk and show who we are as individuals helps grow the game and grow their brand as a personal type of brand?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I really do think it is a win-win for both the fans and the athletes, because I feel like, you know, you're a pro athlete yourself. You kind of want to have these conversations, right? Or want to let the multifaceted like sides of yourself be known to the public, right? That you're not just like an athlete that only exists when you turn on the TV at 7, right? You have all these interests, right? You have businesses, ideas, and things that you want to get out to the world. So It has been really, really beneficial. And I think in these guys' case, their success of the Knicks has kind of coincided with, kind of when we have started the podcast. Luckily, not saying the two things are related, but hey, you want to draw that conclusion. They've kind of emerged as leaders of the team, right? The Knicks didn't have a team captain, right, at the time that Brunson joined the team. And this is something that they wanted to entrust him with because of how he carries himself, like on the court. And then, just within the facility, as a leader off the court as well, and how he carries himself in his daily business dealings and things with his family as well. He brings the same kind of leadership to the podcast, HART as well. He's someone that is going to ride or die for his teammates. These guys ride or die for their teammates. They ride or die for Coach Tibbs. They're always backing each other, There's been a lot of criticism, and you know what it's like playing in New York, right? You get it from every angle. And the social media, it's interesting. These guys, I know Josh has said he's muted, kind of his timeline sometimes, or muted certain words, because I know he's big into social media. But I know for sure Jalen sees everything, but he kind of has that mindset, or, of growing up, Rick, that's been a mindset that's been taught that he's going to, all the praise, he's going to take it and put it in the basket and go ball. All the negativity, he's going to take it, put it in the basket, go ball. So he's going to see it and just treat it the same way, positive or negative.
We are talking to executive producer of The Roommate Show, Jalen Brunson, and the one and only Josh Hart, Cam Smith. Before we let you go, we're going to let you, I want you to do Save Your Tears with us. You've never done it before. It'll be fun. So we're going to get you involved before we do that, okay? How do you know Nithin? How did you meet the one and only Nithin? I mean, he's 5'6". He's a wonderful.
I hope he didn't approach you with a leash.
I mean, by the way,
a lot of hot ladies.
He believes that there's a lot of hot ladies out there. And by the way,
I'm putting you on a leash now.
He wants to put you on a leash.
I hope he didn't put you on a leash, Cam.
Or he's one of these.
They call me the ladies' man and Mr. Steal Your Girl.
He likes to steal girls.
Oh, I hear Mr. Steal Your Girl. Yeah, I was thinking right there. How did I meet Nithin?
How did you meet Nithin?
I think it was online during COVID. I was working for a different unnamed sports media company than Playmaker, but also a good one. I was doing some on-camera talent work, talking sports. I actually came on Nithin's show. I got connected to him through one of my college teammates who he went to high school with. So this is how I got to meet Nithin.
There he is.
I've been following.
There he is.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is,
Tim
the
Meadows, the real ladies man.
A lot of hot ladies.
Yo, I see the leashes because he got that dog in him.
Oh, I got one for you. You ready? Ready for this one?
I like anal.
That's a great one. That's a great soundbite. How did you let them get a hold of that? Nithin.
I got one for you.
My dog wants your pussycat.
No, Nithin actually encouraged it.
2 in the pink and 1 in the stink.
Oh, never mind. Okay, I see he's the ringleader. We gotta have a chat after this, brother.
I have no sack.
Oh, these are elite sound bites. Wait a minute. Is this soundboard like a MP3, or can I get this?
Oh, you can. Watch. I got
as
one
like
for
a
you.
file. I'm just gonna bust this out in the Zoom meeting.
I got one for it.
I
What
need
does
a
that
gin and tonic.
What was that?
Oh,
I need a gin and tonic.
I need a gin and tonic.
Oh, a classic G&T.
You can
Do
think
you
of
want
that
to
if you
jerk
ever
me
have
off?
if you ever have a gin and tonic with Nithin, think of that.
That's the panic order. That's like when
Butt
you get
plug.
up there, you're waiting in line, but you weren't paying attention. Maybe you're talking to somebody or something, and then you get up there, you're like, oh, what am I? G&T.
I have no Woody.
Oh, I know that one.
Oh, here's what. Hold on. We got one. Hold on. Here.
Do you want to jerk me off?
No, I do not.
Hard
Cooch.
pass.
How
Hard pass.
about this one?
Titties.
Here's
Oh,
one.
I can't comprehend. I don't know some of these faces.
Here it is.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
There's an explanation about this leash,
Oh.
and we're gonna
Duty
get to the bottom of it. It
Dodger.
might not be safe for the show.
It's a mytholog. It's like a folklore. The leash. No one will ever be able to
There's some
explain
lore.
how epic it
The
really
Nithin
is.
lore, it runs deep, which is hilarious.
does.
I love that.
He's an interesting dude, man. I love Nithin. He's got a great personality. But before we let you go, you got to join us
Yeah.
for your first Save Your Tears. Let's go for it. Hit it.
100%. Let's get into it.
Well, that wasn't the drop, but
What's
here
one
it is.
thing that you can't talk to me about?
My sexual fantasies.
Say you're sorry.
It is not ideal, but if it's what me, it is not ideal, but if it is not ideal, but if it is what me. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lord. You can't triple stamp a double stamp. Lord, you guys, enough.
And now, it's time for Save Your Tears.
All right, and you, Cam, this is a first time for you, and we're going to teach you a game that you've never played before, and we're going to see where you land when it comes to percentages. Are you ready? Are you ready to do Save Your Tears?
Let's do it.
All right.
You ready to play?
All right, let's do it.
All right, welcome, Cam. My name's Fish right here. I'm the EP on this show, and we have this fun segment that we like to do. It's one of those $15 salary caps, and it was for the conference finals. So these were the guys we could pick from. Basically, I made these based on what the stats looked like, and we had $5 player and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander over Jalen, Tyrese Halliburton at $3, and then as you see, guys with a little bit less playing time as you go down, you get $15. We're just curious, this is for games 1 through 3 of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and the way that we play is we pick our teams, and then the winning team. He gets to get a compliment chorus from everybody that lost, starting with the team who did the worst. And those compliments have to be at least 51% genuine. 51%.
I like it. All right, it's majority.
It's the majority. We don't always get to 51, but we aim and
Pulled
strive
it out of my ass.
for 51. And tonight, we have the big reveal, and the winning player is, yes, it is going to be our host, Errol Marks.
Oh, my God, I won again. Woo!
That's 2 times in the last 3. Errol had not won until recently.
Eat it,
Yo, what's up, Cam? What's up, my guy?
What's good, Nathan? How you doing, bro?
Nathan's on
looking
this
at the
list
score.
as well.
I'm peeping the scores right now.
Yeah.
So we see Errol with a
Who's last?
559. Big-time numbers, Errol. Just everybody knows these are big-time numbers. Halliburton was probably the right choice. He was only $3 and had more than Jalen by a few points and only a couple of points less than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. At shooting guard, Anthony Edwards was clearly the right choice. Almost everybody took them. If you didn't take them, it was a big mistake by you. Everyone was pretty close to the top with Neesmith and Hart really close together. Jaden McDaniels also had a pretty good one
finger in his ass?
going on. OG had a really great job. I think OG had something like 8 blocks and steals in 3 games for the Knicks in the first 3 games, which is what helped get his points up. And if you take a look, Goody almost won, even though Goody's not with us, and Goody knows probably, I don't know.
You just
if
had to
Goody
take
knows
Obi
how to spell
Toppin.
basketball. If he didn't take Obi Toppin, he probably would have won this one, even though he doesn't know anything about basketball.
But Cam,
So
put it in
here's
perspective,
the
Obi
list.
Toppin was his first pick.
Force milk out of somebody's
And we're going to start off with the compliment chorus. You get to sit in on this one, Cam.
Yeah, for sure.
Joba, you had a tough week. You got let down by Lou Dort. Isaiah Hardenstein let us down too. I mean, he left the Knicks, and now he destroyed our Save Your Tears teams. That's 2 strikes against him. Joba, it's time to pay up. We got some compliments from Mr. Errol Marks.
Yeah, but first, Cam, if you had $15, what would have been your team?
Ooh, that was tough.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Yeah, can we pull up the tiers again?
Yep, right here.
It would be hard to go away from SGA. You really can't go wrong with SGA or Anthony Edwards, so I probably would have picked one of those 2. Let's say I would just have gone with SGA for the 5. A lot of value, Brunson. I mean, yeah, I think I would take him for how he's been playing. So that's my 9 right there.
No, you get one from.
You can only pick one from each category, so you can only take one point guard, one shooting guard.
Ooh,
so it's a little bit tricky, yeah.
SGA has been putting up crazy fantasy numbers. Ooh, but I would have rocked with Brunson in this regard, even though Halliburton was the sleeper with the 3. Crazy. 2, yeah, I would have picked Anthony Edwards. 3, just to get through this. Wow, Neesmith could have been a sleeper, but I probably would have picked Jaden McDaniels. I kind of really like what he's been doing,
and he actually did really well during
$1.
that stretch too. So he was the right pick at that position in this week. And then so that gives you $1,
He's at 9 right
Anthony
now.
Edwards,
So
so
he's got
you're at
6
9.
left.
So you got 6 left for forward and center.
6 for last 2. Nas Reed would have been a good pickup. But I probably would have gone the 4 and 2. I probably would have gone for Hartenstein and Siakam.
Yeah. I mean, and that would have been probably a competitive team with everybody. Everyone made a mistake. Matherin was the worst player on this entire board. That was my mistake. But we'll start off with Joba with the compliments for Mr. Errol Marks.
Yeah, you know what? It's back-to-back weeks. You're getting better at this, Errol. I'm proud of you. You just you didn't steal all of Fish's picks. You kind of weren't paying attention and then just did your thing. So, back-to-back weeks is something to be proud of. So you should give yourself a pat on the back.
I think that's 51%.
Yeah.
All right. Next, who came in the next position?
I never heard of a skin flute.
We've got Mr. Nithin.
Pete Alonso's going to accept it.
Some compliments for Errol Marks.
Wait, go back to Errol's thing real quick.
Oh, you want to take a look at the stats?
Yeah.
No!
Oh yeah, 5. Okay. Well, Errol, good job. I love your team. Obviously, Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Josh Hart. No, this is your. No, you got Halliburton, Brunson. No, what do you got? No, Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Hart.
Damn it, Nathan! Can you not read?
Okay. Yeah. So,
okay.
All I have to say, great team, man. You killed it once again. There you go.
That was inspiring. That was inspiring. It's my turn. Next, my team tanked as well. Errol, sometimes when we talk about winning, we talk about mindset. And mindset is where you won this tournament. This is why you are now the back-to-back Save Your Tears champion. It was the superior mindset. You locked in. You made sure you got your stretch, you got your early workout, you got your shoot around in. You were the first one on the court like Kobe. Just like Kobe. Very similar, actually. And then, when you made your team, it was like Kobe 2.0. Great job.
Wow, that's a pretty good compliment. I mean, may rest in peace, but I'm wearing a Carmelo Anthony jersey, so it's definitely not all about winning on that one.
All right. Who's next? We've got
I think I'm next.
Tommy. Tommy's up.
All right. Well, Errol, man, you just picked an absolutely phenomenal team. I really lucked out with the Nemhart there, and you really know how to pick your squad there. Back-to-back champs, like you said as well, and you really, I guess you could say, you really blazed through like the great ass blazer you are. As your
the gross sexual action of cream on somebody's face.
What?
Well, yeah, there's that.
They can clean themselves.
Yeah.
I think Cam prefers Nithin's drops.
How about a bareback?
We may have
Would you stick a
like
finger
top
in his
100
ass?
drops list at this point.
All of Nithin's definitely crack it.
I've got one for you.
Do you know a rooster is a cock?
Tommy, let's
Y'all
hear
are
it.
stupid.
Yeah, man, you definitely know how to. You definitely are getting the hang of this. It's definitely is becoming a more of a strong suit, and yeah, this absolutely great win this week.
You gotta put your tongue on something.
All right, let's go to Speedy to finish this off because our second and third place guys are
Beg your
here.
pardon?
Owen
If cocks could kill.
So yes, Errol,
And,
most
yeah,
passionate, knowledgeable, and stylish Knicks fan that I know, definitely served his due by doing the one thing that a lot of our guys did not do, is staying away from some other former Knicks. Obviously, Goody headlined it with Obi Toppin, and I, unfortunately, with a lot of some other good battles, but I got let down by Isaiah Hartenstein.
What
But
do you think he jerks off
you
with?
made the great move of not picking any former New York Knicks and end up triumphing because of it.
I want you to trim fish.
All right, and if
not
you're
trimming
upset at
fish.
the results, guys, remember, you can't cry about it in this game. You gotta save your tears.
Save your tears, and I'm about to cry because the Knicks are playing like crap.
Come on, Knicks.
This is starting to make me throw up. I'm watching this. By the way, the referees are.
We got them where we want them.
Is that what you're trying to sell to me here, Cam? I mean, I might as well get some more Twizzlers and stick them in my nose. I mean, this is just this is horrible.
We've seen it before, but I guess this is,
I mean, this is starting to really make me sick. And by the way, the referees have been on Indiana's side throughout this game. I mean, they're getting every single call in the third quarter and obviously throughout this last 3-4 minutes of the fourth quarter. They're getting every single call. So I don't get it, but again, there it is. Look at that.
There you go.
That's a nice.
Hey, you never answered my question. Which minor league baseball team did that come from?
Why don't you just cream and get on top?
I have no idea, Speedy. I just found the picture and I just thought it was an uncanny likeness.
Before we let you go, my friend, because you seem like a really cool dude, we got to get you on the show one of these days just to shoot the crap with you, let you join the show. We go into some subjects when it comes to sports. How much do you know your football? How much do you know your basketball and your baseball? What? Obviously, basketball is your sport. But do you know your football?
For sure, yeah.
You know your football?
That's the one I came up playing. Definitely watched college. Stayed tapped in with the NFL. Baseball, I'm a 1 out of 10. But we're working. We're getting
all right.
better.
So who's your favorite football team?
Cowboys.
Oh my God! That's why you and Nathan are friends.
I knew. Yeah, me and Nathan have been locked in like that.
That's why. That's what it is. By the way, I'm the only person in this.
Thing. This year's the year.
It's our year. It's our year. Cam, it's our year, Cam. Let's go.
To do what? Win 8 games with an interim coach that's going to be fired?
I will say this. I'm a big Dak Prescott supporter. I love Dak Prescott. I've supported everything that's gone on with him over the last couple of years. Very well deserved. I know everybody says it's a lot of money, but the Cowboys don't realize that now that they added another weapon, if George Pickens could get along with CeeDee Lamb, they've got some weapons, man. And they got a pretty good running back that they drafted in, what was it?
Jaden Blue. Yep.
It was fourth round?
Fifth round.
Yeah. Fifth round. So
Out of Texas.
Yeah,
yep.
I think
picked up a guard, too, from
I
Alabama.
like the O-lineman they took from Oregon, too. He's nice.
Yep.
So you got something set up, man. Why don't we get you on the show, And one of these days, we should get all of you guys. We should get Jalen Brunson. We should get Josh Hart. We should get you. We should get your partner in crime over there, one of their other boys over there. Get Mikal Bridges.
Absolutely.
We should all get us all on and actually shoot the crap and talk a little basketball after the season. That would be pretty cool. And hopefully the Knicks are winning a championship and we celebrate and we get a nice statue of Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart in front of Madison Square Garden. But it doesn't look good tonight. It really doesn't. But hey, maybe we'll get lucky.
I got to check the score again. But yeah, I would honestly love that. Would love to come back on the show.
Absolutely.
Get these guys on here. Hopefully they're in the championship hunt. So bring the trophy on the show. Bring the damn trophy on.
That would be great.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
You know what we got to do first? But we got to do like a practical joke on Nathan. I mean, there's something that we got to do to Nathan during the live show.
I mean, 113 to 101. By the way,
I got to think about.
I'm going to mail a rooster. I'm going to mail a live rooster to his house. What do you think? You think a rooster? I'm going to buy a rooster for him.
Would you ever catch the rooster with your leash?
Doing it together. Chicks with dicks.
That would be an interesting animal to have on a leash, Nathan.
Could you imagine, Nathan? Cam, this guy is like all about leashes, and the interesting thing about Nathan is that when we had a conversation about women, I said, what is it with you and women? He says, well, what I like to do with women is I like to put a leash on them and take them for a walk. That's what he told us. I was like, you do what? And he says, I put a leash on women. I'm like, dude, if you put a leash on a woman, I'm surprised you're not
consensually.
Yeah.
Breaking news. A lot of hot ladies.
Hey, Cam, Fish, I don't know if you can pull this up, but can we work on Nathan's fit? Like, his outfits are rough.
Yo, Joba.
Hey, clothes don't make the man. Tell him.
Oh. Wait.
The swag is on the inside, baby.
Oof.
Bagel hole.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, that's way better.
It's solid.
All right.
It's a little Jake from State Farm.
Yum, yum. Glory hole.
Cam, you could call that the Nith Insurance line.
Nith Insurance.
I've got one for you. Ready?
Breaking news. I gotta go back off now.
Nith Insurance. All your leashes will be protected.
Oh, God.
Anyways, Cam, we really appreciate you joining us. Let's stay in touch. And we'll definitely, after the season, we definitely got to talk. We would love for you to come back on and have a lot of fun with us. So
I had a lot of fun here today, fellas. So that's dope. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Appreciate the invite, y'all.
There's the fit right there.
Look at
the
this.
camo.
Look at that. Look at that picture, man. I mean, he's wearing a
Is
camo.
that the same shirt, Nathan?
Definitely the same shirt.
Yep.
Wow.
Why change? Why change the formula?
We were telling
Nathan's got
Nathan
20
that
duplicates of the same shirt.
that was such a good outfit because I could only see the upper half of his body. Like the top is visible, and like that jacket could be like the invisibility cloak. We don't know, and that's real like stealthy.
Yeah,
is what I think.
He's got the blue blazer. I mean, that's what
Blue
we call him, the
blazer.
blue. The first, and I want to give you a shout out, Nathan, because I love you. Before I start, when I started this show a long time ago, Nathan was a big fan of the show. He was never doing media, anything like that. He actually started to watch my show and kind of became a fan. And then he's like, and we spoke off air, and he started to get into the media end. And ever since then, I've watched Nathan grow as a media guy. And he's an interesting personality. He's a good kid. He's a very kind soul. And the one thing I could say about Nathan, he's a very likable person. No matter what, he has got a good heart. So I could see why you guys are Cowboy fans. I don't know why you're Cowboy fans, but I could see why you're Cowboy fans, and you have something connected with each other. Hopefully it's not doing little crazy things like
it's
need a gin and tonic.
It's a 10-point game.
Let's go. 3
Lay
for
that up.
Bridges with the 3. Come on.
No.
Let's go.
All right, well, let's hope.
I may be ahead of y'all.
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
But Cam, we really appreciate the time, and we'll definitely talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Thanks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only executive producer of The Roommates, the one and only Cam Smith. Golf clap, everybody. Golf clap. Give him a golf clap. Yes.
Let's go.
Let's hope the Knicks win this game, because I don't want to see them go back to Madison Square Garden down 3-1 and playing chasey. But I like them. I like him. Thank you, Nathan, for giving us a very good guest. And he has a great personality, and I could see why he works with JALEN Brunson and Josh Hart, because he's open, and he seems like he's a down-to-earth dude. So I like him. And by the way, he joined us for Save the Tears. So Save Your Tears. So I actually liked it. So what do you guys think?
Fish, what is the impression of him in the Save Your Tears recap?
I thought it was great. We got to get him on a time where we're actually doing it, so that like he can come in remotely.
Not pick Obi Toppin #1 overall.
Listen, you know what's great about Nathan is he Cam seems like a really cool down to earth guy, and if he can kind of talk to JALEN Brunson and Josh Hart to come on our show, it would be really, really cool.